Hi guys, so today we are going to be doing a tumbler with these 4 glitters and this vinyl from Elena's gift shop. I love this. It is my seamless pattern. There was a matching PNG to it saying together we are magical, and so we just had multiple skin tones and I absolutely love it. I'm just going to show you today the part of applying the vinyl and doing the ombre, and I will explain my next steps, but that will be a different video. So the first thing I'm going to do is trim off the edges of my vinyl. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to do a V-split. So I'm taking my vinyl after I trimmed it and I am connecting the corners on both sides just to make nice crease marks, just like this. And then with your scissors you can follow your lines. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you're going to add vinyl striping, but if you want it perfect, go ahead and use a roller. Okay, so this is what it should look like. So I am going to be using the bottom V-split for my tumbler, but just as something extra, if you have a seamless vinyl, and what that means is when you put the left and the right together, that design would match up. If you've ever wondered how people get the diamond tumbler, you would lay one vinyl with your left triangle and then lay the other with the right, and then you could line it up and you would get something like this. But I might save that for another tumbler. I'm going to work with this one right here, okay? So I'm going to peel it off. I just peel off my whole sheet and hope for the best. And I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to roll it and then lay it down and cross it. So now we need to trim off the bottom. I use this cutting edge tool from Amazon. I will link it below. And this just helps clean up the bottom and top edges of your tumbler and make your vinyl straight. So just like that. So my next step, just to protect my vinyl and ensure I get like the cleanest lines possible, I'm going to take painter's tape. You can also use electrical tape, but I highly recommend a name brand of painter's tape because I have used an off-brand and it left a very sticky residue. And all I'm doing is I am covering the edges of my vinyl on the bottom, and then I'm doing the same for the top. This will also help if you are painting your base. You won't get paint on your vinyl. If you are using spray paint, you're going to want to cover all of your vinyl with paint so that you don't get any of that overspray. But I am going to show you what these glitters look like without a painted base. So here we are. Also, keep in mind, I bought pre-prepped tumblers, so these are already sanded, but if you don't buy those, you're going to want to sand your tumbler down, okay? The top and the bottom, just like that. All right, so now we're going to start ombreing. I'm just making sure that all of my glitters are ready to be used. Like I said, I'm not painting my base. For darker colors like this and golds, I don't think that painting your base is necessary, but for some glitters it is. So I'm going to take my Adhesive Apothecary glitter glue and I'm going to start applying a generous portion. Now, this is the only brush I have that's not dried out. Don't judge me. So if my glue looks a little messy, that would be why. I have a bad habit of using my brushes and then not washing them out, and then they're dried and ruined. And as you can see here, this is why we laid that painter's tape down, just so that we didn't get glue on our vinyl and all of that stuff. I'm putting a really generous coat because it might take me a few minutes to ombre this. But if I have to, I have Loctite to fix any spots. So this is Burnt Umber from PDB. This one is a fine mix, and I'm starting by just kind of covering 1 inch of the top rim. And then I'm going to angle my tumbler down, and I'm going to lightly shake my glitter. I don't want a super thick coat going down. Okay, and if there's any parts we have to fix, we'll do that later. So then I like to take my lightest color. I'm using Nude. And I'm going to start doing the same thing. And I don't want a lot of nude, okay? So I'm just lightly shaking it up there. So my next color I'm going to use is Juliet. So now I'm going to start blending Juliet into nude. And then lightly bringing it into that bare area where we're going to put a fourth glitter. I just like to kind of map out my ombre first, and then I'll go fix parts if I have to. Next, I'm going in with Hustler. I don't know. I just feel like it might be a good mix for some of those skin tones, but if it doesn't match, oh wow, too late. Okay, so now I can start ombreing them. So let's take a little bit of Hustler and go into Burnt Umber. Okay. And now I'm going to go over it again with Burnt Umber. When I'm doing ombres, I like to keep a spray glue on hand because sometimes I need to spray some glue to make parts stickier again so that I can blend them really well. So I like to take my time. I like to go back and forth and do it the best that I can without getting my spray glue out. But you know, some colors are easier to ombre than others. I think I chose the perfect colors for this. So do you see how now that this color I'm using now is blending way better into Juliet after I fix it? All right, I'm gonna go get some spray glue and spray some glue on here so I can get it sticky again. Okay, so this is what I used. Nothing crazy. It just helps me get the cup a little sticky again so that I can blend out my ombres. So now I'm going in with a really soft hand. So do you see those two colors look so perfect together? So now let's get Juliet back. Sorry, I try and keep all of my glitters on different papers. So let's get Juliet back and go into nude just a little bit. And this is where we're at. I'm gonna try and blend out my top two colors just for another couple seconds. And then we'll do the bottom of the cup. I think the hardest thing about ombres is people think, oh, I messed it up the first time and now my cup isn't sticky anymore, so it won't adhere. But having a spray glue on hand really helps because my ombre now, compared to a couple minutes ago, it's just so much better. All right. So now we're going to do the bottom of the cup. I'm actually going to do the bottom in Juliet. I really like this color. So I'm going to apply some glue. Sorry, I'm out of frame here for a second. And let's see what Juliet looks like on the bottom. If we don't love it, we can go back over it with nude. Okay guys, I am honestly so happy with how this turned out. So I'm going to peel my tape up. I'm not worried about that little open spot right there because I'm gonna add a cream and then a darker brown vinyl striping lines later on. So let's peel this and I will explain to you my next steps. All right guys, I am not showing my epoxy or crystal-lac steps. This video was really just meant to show you how to glitter a V-split, but I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do next. So first I am cleaning up my vinyl. Any glitter that stuck to it, I don't want that on there. And then I will pop any bubbles that were in my vinyl that I missed. I'm going to let this dry for about an hour. And then I'm going to spray it about 2 to 3 times with Adhesive Apothecary Indoor Sealer. If you don't have this, you can use clear spray paint or that glue that I showed you earlier. You just want to seal your glitter in so that when you go to epoxy it or Crystalac, you're not rubbing glitter around. I personally am using Crystalac, so I'm going to do a few coats of this in about an hour, and I'm going to make sure all of my glitter is in place. And from that point, I'll probably have to do about 6 layers of Crystalac until this is smooth. If you're using epoxy, it should only take about 2 layers. And then what I will do is I will add some vinyl striping here. And then I will add a decal here. So I'll be sure to record those steps when I'm ready. But because I use Crystalac, it takes a few days. But if you have any questions on how to ombre a V-split, please let me know and I will link all my supplies below.